Hi, in this video we will cover introduction and conclusion questions subtype. So let's start. On your official SAT, you are likely to see 2 to 3 questions in which a full sentence or most of one is underlined. And you're asked something like this: which choice best introduces the paragraph? Or this: the writer wants a conclusion that states the main claim of the passage. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? While they appear in different places in a passage, introductions and conclusions both involve summarizing main ideas. These questions will require you to evaluate the relevance of the information contained in the choices. We need to select the choice that, by providing useful information, best emphasize the main idea of the passage or paragraph. So, what does a good introduction do? A good introduction looks forward. It should draw our attention to the most important aspects and highlight the main ideas of the paragraph or passage to come. A good introduction doesn't distract from what follows. Its goal is to prepare the reader for the information that comes next, not to provide loosely related background details. What does a good conclusion do? A good conclusion looks backward. It should restate the main ideas in the passage or paragraph, summarizing and synthesizing them in a way that emphasizes the claim of the author. A good conclusion doesn't provide new information that needs additional context or explanation. In a single passage, conclusion may take the focus of a passage and relate it to a broader context, or identify new opportunities for study. It shouldn't introduce brand new arguments or details. So, what are the tips and strategies? Number one, restate ideas. What is the main idea that we are introducing or concluding? If we can summarize this idea in our own words, we can notice a gap between this idea and the ideas around it. A good introduction or conclusion will clearly link the ideas in the paragraph with the other ideas in the passage. Number two, identify purpose. What's the purpose of the information that we're introducing or concluding? Does it describe a study or experiment? The best introduction might describe the motivation for the study or introduce particular researchers. The best conclusion might explain the implications of the study results or identify opportunities for further research. Does it defend against an opposing viewpoint? The best introduction might anticipate the objections of a certain group of people. The best conclusion might redirect us to the main claims of the passage. Tip number three, answer the question that is being asked. So don't fall for tempting choices that sound good, but that don't answer the question. Remember, every choice is going to be grammatically correct. Many students get distracted by choices in the introduction and conclusion questions that sound interesting and relevant, but that don't effectively introduce or conclude the passage in the paragraph. Your best defense against tempting wrong choices that sound good is to have a prediction ready. Restating ideas and identifying purpose will do that for you. Let's go through a practice example. How can happiness be contagious? Some researchers think that one of the most likely mechanisms in is empathetic mimicry. People unconsciously copy the facial expressions, body language, and other behaviors of those around them, often with remarkable speed and accuracy. This can cause people, through a kind of neural feedback, to actually experience the emotions associated with the particular behavior they are mimicking. In other words, if someone smiles, then we are likely to smile in response, and the act of smiling can make us happy. Which choice best introduces the paragraph? So if you look at the body of the paragraph, in like, don't think about the introductory sentence. It tells us how, if there is an expression on somebody's face, the other person is likely to copy it, and the other person will then copy it, and this kind of spreads. So the expression on the face spreads. So if there's an happy expression, for example, a smile, it is likely possible that the other person will get to smile as well. If you look at the answer choices, all of them are grammatically correct, right? So A is no change. B is it impolite to copy the behavior of those around us? If you look at the body of the passage, politeness or decorum of social settings is not discussed. So we can ignore this. Number C, can research reliably identify what makes people happy? This is a bit close, but let's look forward. D, can people lie with their facial expressions? Now, this idea has not been covered at all. If we'll compare A and D, A is how can happiness be contagious, and B is can research reliably identify what makes people happy. So, if we think about it, A is something that addresses the central premise or the central idea of the whole passage. The whole passage is about not what makes us happy, it's about how an expression on somebody's face spreads, right? So if it's an expression on my face and I'm smiling, the other person will look at it and smile as well. That contagiousness has been introduced and explained in the passage, and that's why option A is the correct one and option C is not correct, although option C is almost right as well. So that's it for this video. In the next video we will cover another question subtype.